Welcome to this special edition of the Krisin Star Leader series. My name is Gauri. I run Krisin and we are doing some really exciting work in leadership development. In the line of my work, I have this incredible privilege of interacting with and interviewing many exceptional leaders across different sectors. Many of these leaders are women. So, in the spirit of International Women's Day, Krisin brings you these fantastic segments of stories, insights and advice from some of these extraordinary women. Women who are inspiring, energizing and deeply committed to excellence. There are some very powerful messages here and I hope you learn from and enjoy them as much as I do.
I've seen that you've got to have even greater confidence as a woman. Yeah? So many years of my career I've seen, if I look at the own wishes of people, all the men that write their own wishes at senior level talk about how they want to be the CEO of the company. Almost all the women who write their own wishes talk about how they want to be better at their current jobs. So this thing about being able to express ambition, the thing about having the confidence to express ambition and say I'll go for it, is something that I have to train myself at. Because we are all socially conditioned to be a little less ambitious, to be careful about what we say about our wishes, aspirations, how far we want to go. So that's one of the challenges, because when you train yourself to do that, not all men are used to hearing an ambitious woman who knows her mind and who says, yeah, I want to do things, I want to make a difference in the world.
We always play it safe and I mean, we rather succeed at a small scale than fail at a large scale, whereas the other could equally be true. You know, I think sometimes we hold ourselves back because either we fear failure, or we fear being judged, or we fear being not liked. I think if we let go of some of these fears, it is what it is, we'll do much better. I personally would have done, even way better than what's transpired.
It is a statistically proven fact that women consider themselves not as good as they are for their job, and men will always jump into a job where they may not be good enough, but they believe they are, and women somehow shy away from it. So there is a lot we need to do in terms of coaching and mentoring the women.
The other challenge as a woman is being able to stand up for what you believe in and create the space for others to follow. So being one of the trailblazers has meant that I make it easier for the women who come after me. So I've had the privilege, both in my tenure in Hindustan Lever, in my tenure in Unilever, to bring in a slew of practices that have made sense to men and women, be it generous maternity leave in all the countries that we operate in, being the first company that has a global paternity standard across all the 190 countries we operate in, creating daycare facilities in almost all our establishments across the world, providing enormous support, flexibility of the way that you cannot imagine, 100 people do job sharing in our business. So creating a slew of flexible policies that make it easy for men and women to balance their lives. But it's my personal challenges that have made me such an advocate of ensuring that the organization creates flexibility that allows men and women to balance all aspects of their lives. You cannot be a successful professional if you're a failure at everything else. So it's important to bring all of yourself and the best of yourself to work.
In a career of, close to 25 years, of course, I've had many challenges, faced many obstacles. The first, let me go rewind a little bit back. When I went to Australia, I got almost every week I got a rejection letter. And the stories were different, either they did not believe that the work that I had done, because in India everything is large scale. So when we do recruitment, we had done recruitment for 10,000 engineers at a time. And in Australia that was unheard of. Probably at that time there were 10,000 engineers in the whole of Australia. So they wouldn't believe it. So then I started diminishing myself. I said, okay, maybe I'll say 500 in my resume or 200. But then I got a very good advice from a coach, and she said, do not diminish yourself, because the role that you will get when you diminish yourself will be a diminished role, and you'll never be true to who you are, and you'll constantly resent working when you are working at a level much lower than what you can contribute. So that's where I said, okay, it may take me longer, but let me really go for what I really want to do. And fortunately, I landed in a role that was true to me and stretched me and challenged me.
But the second thing is,
women need to lean in. They need to call out themselves as well, and they need to believe in themselves. Most of the time, women genuinely believe they can't ask for a compensation increase. They don't think they are fit enough for a job. They need to be called out rather than asking for more. And that is where we just need to help the women get to that stage, and probably one-on-one finding the talent and working with that talent so they believe they can get to the next level is something there is more we can do to support our people.
Because I think somewhere we let the idea of other people sort of shape some of our actions, and that's a lot of conditioning, that's a lot of baggage, that's also, you know, everything right from, you know, what clothes you're wearing to, there are a lot of things that have been sort of, you know, conditioned into our minds, so we still carry them around. And I just feel that a little more personal audacity would be nice.
I think the best learning for me has really been through networking. I have, adopted mentors, so to speak, and found time to discuss various, key issues with those people. And I've derived a lot of value from having those discussions. You know, I had the prerogative of knowing Professor C.K. Prahlad very well. So I used to, have wonderful quality time with him to discuss a lot of bold initiatives, differentiated initiatives, innovative initiatives in terms of business modeling.
And I have been mentoring women for years, and I have a brilliant mentor as well, and she has supported me a lot in my career, and similarly I do the same. So I think all of the women at a very young age in the organization should look for someone they can look up to and who can help them just climb the ladder that's required.
I do have a fairly sort of well worked out schedule every day. I start my day with a kind of a fitness regimen, which I try to be very disciplined about. Of course, my work hours can be quite stretchable depending on how packed my day is. During the weekdays, I try to have an early night. But over the weekends, I spend time with my friends and try and sort of relax and switch off work as much as I can. Of course, every evening as I mentioned to you, I have early evenings, but I spend it with family. I read, I listen to music, I'm very interested in sports. So, that's the way I keep myself balanced.
There is a lot the women need to do at home. Women somehow do not take in the responsibility at home, which is 50-50. Most of the women in our Indian household, even if they are working, they still continue to take a large part of responsibility at home, which probably is not fair. And hence women needs to work with the family at home, whether it's spouse, whether it's in-laws, whether it's parents, whoever it be, to get them along in the journey. Otherwise, they will continue to struggle at home. And that's where I think women have a responsibility as well to speak up and get everyone in the journey so they can make this happen while the organization is trying to support them.
The other challenge has been, like all women, learning to balance all aspects of my life, because I do want to be a good mother to my boys. I do want to be a good wife to my husband, a good daughter-in-law, and so on and so forth. So balancing all these aspects of my life has been another challenge, and one that I constantly work at, and always seek help from the network of women who support me to make all these roles possible for me, being able to juggle all of these.
You know, there was this conflict between, am I being a good mother, or do I put myself into my career? What do I do first? And that continued. And interestingly, after a while, it was my own daughters who came back to me and said, Mom, we're really proud that you are working, and do not again, feel this guilt because of us, because when we look at you, we know why we need to study. So that really gave me comfort. But those years before they could articulate this, and the years that I worked, were tough, and it was a balance between how much do you stay at home, how much do you fulfill your image of being that good mother to the image of the career woman, which is always slightly, at that time at least, seen negative. One thing that I did do, which I always tell everyone to do, is constantly have conversations with your kids, with your husband, about what you're doing at work, because that was very important for the kids to know what I was doing. So it was not all about what's your homework being done, or what have you done at school, but also sharing stories about my work, and that helped bridge a bond between them and me, and have this dinner table conversations that were meaningful.